Hi and welcome to episode 3 of the Cat Creations Knitting Podcast. Hi, I'm Reegan. I'm the face behind Cat Creations. This is my knitting podcast where I share all things yarny, mostly knitting, sometimes some crochet. And I have a lot to talk about. It's been a few months since my last podcast. I don't know what happened. I think the last time I filmed I was getting over COVID, so I was still quite blocked up, and then things got away from me. But I'm back. I'm here. It is officially winter here in Ballarat. If you don't know where that is, it's in Victoria, so south end of Australia. It's pretty cold here generally most of the time. For Australia, the sun's just come out, so we've got some good light, which is nice, but it's been dark and miserable all day. So good one for the winter woolies to put on. So today, what have we got? We've got some finished objects. We've got works in progress. I've got some test knits I'm doing I can talk about. Some I can't talk about. I've got a design in progress, which I'm hoping to share. And I have a fail. Lesson learnt, maybe, probably not. We'll see. So let's get into it. I'll start with what I'm wearing. This is the Fantastic Sweater by Stephen West. I knitted this one last year, I think it was. Yeah, it would have been last year. It is a wonderful mix of patterns and colours. I knitted this with just random single skeins I had around the house that met gauge. So there's a mixture of fingering weight held double, DK weight, and maybe some slightly heavier weights in here as well. It's pretty forgiving. There's a mixture of textures as well. We've got alpaca, we've got some merino, we've got a cotton merino mix in here. I think there's some mohair as well. Possibly some baby merino. I'm not sure. But this one, yeah, it was a lot of fun to knit. I think it's a creative, fun, kind of happy jumper. So I really love wearing it when it's miserable and cold outside. I have seen some versions of this where it's been one colour with an accent colour, and they look stunning as well. So if you want to have a play with textures, absolutely recommend this one. It's really, really straightforward, really easy to follow. And you don't have to do really bright colours if you don't want to. If it's not your vibe, absolutely. It still looks amazing with like toned down colours or just maybe one or two. Yeah, lots of fun. Let's move into finished objects. Maybe we'll start with accessories. A couple of quick knits that I've completed I've done 2 versions of this, of the Ribbed Beanie by Pearl Soho. This one's slightly larger. This one my husband has been wearing, and this one I get to wear. I knitted these in Cascade 220, so the good old Cascade 220. I think it was just under 1 skein for each one of these hats. So I had leftovers on both just in case I wanted to go back and make them a bit longer or change anything. And yeah, absolute workhorse of a yarn, and also a pattern. Like, it's really straightforward. It's just knit one, purl one until you decide to do decreases. So absolutely we'll be making some more of these hats for the coming months. The other accessory that I've finished finally are these little mitts, fingerless gloves or mitts. These are the Rainbow Connection fingerless mitts by Crazy Sock Lady. So these ones are knitted with some leftover sock yarn by Nundle Woolen Mills. No, 3 Trees Fibre Crafts, sorry. So I had leftovers of this in Lavender Fields, which is the model colour, and then the blue is Serenity. It's really soft and silky yarn. I think they get their base from Nundle. which is why I said non-wool mill. I did make these in a size small because the last pair I made in a medium and they're stretched out quite a bit, so I haven't actually worn these yet. I'm hoping they'll be okay. If not, they will make a lovely gift for someone. Our next finished object. I think last episode I was still working on my Franken sweater, and it is complete. There's always scraps of yarn. So I finished my Franken sweater, and this one I knitted in Patterns Jet. So Patterns Australia, they're Jet, which is a 12 ply, I think. The main colour is burgundy, and then I used some single skeins in the other colours for some accent stripes. What can I say about this? Pattern is great. It's a great fitting jumper. It looks really simple, but there's some little tweaks to it that just make it fit really nicely. Oh, who made the pattern? Who's the pattern by? Where are my notes? I have notes. Taylor Earl. So this was part of the Franken sweater knit along, and the pattern itself is a mixture of some really nice favourite patterns. I think there's a mixture of like nope, can't remember. The Felix sweater. I know that was, this is inspired by that one, and I can't remember the other ones. But basically it's a ribbed neckline, which some of us did a folded neckline, or you can just do plain ribs. I did yarn overs for the raglan increases, and then as you get towards the bottom, you start to take it in just slightly. And for me, having broader shoulders and upper arms, I tend to increase the raglan across here, but then often I end up with a boxy waistline. So this kind of just pulls it in just a little bit. It's not super obvious. It just kind of helps to nip it in at the waist. So it just sits really nicely, and it's such a lovely, lovely pattern. And it was a really fun knit along. The group, it was the Patreon group. And yeah, it was lots of fun. However, this yarn it doesn't so much shed, it kind of looks like my cat's been climbing all over me, even though she hasn't. So there's all these little kind of white hairs that keep sticking out. And so you think oh, okay, that's the cat hair, and I'll go pull it out, but it's actually the yarn. And so it just sort of leaves bits. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if you can see it on camera. Is that going to show up? There's just these like little white hairs everywhere. And it just, yeah. So it's definitely a home. You wear it for home. The other thing is I might have to line it because it is a little bit itchy around the neck. So this bit here, it's not really tight, but it just sort of sits back here on me, and it just gets a little bit itchy. So I think I might have to line up with something to be able to wear it more. But other than that, it is a lovely, lovely sweater. The other knit along I took part in was the Lento knit along, which Liner magazine was hosting. And so I managed to knock out one of these, in just a few days. That's the front, that's the back. So I knitted my Lento in La Bien-Aimée Helix. Kumo. I take it back. Kumo, in the colour Winterfell, which is this beautiful dark blue, like deep midnight navy colour. It's not going to come up. And then I held that with some 4-ply sock yarn from Nundle, which I dyed myself in the colour Cobalt. So it's just this really nice, there we go, kind of mottled blue and dark navy colour, and it's so soft. It's really light and really soft and snuggly and not itchy at all. And I love this. The only thing is I only had 200 grams of the 4-ply sock wool, so I was limited. I think I've got this much left, so I think I can go back if I wanted to and lengthen the arms, because they're about here on me and I wouldn't mind them being a bit longer, and maybe the body length by like that much. I don't know, we'll see. I say that, but the odds of me actually going back and changing anything about this is pretty low, because there are a lot of things on my to-do list, and editing previously completed sweaters are not one of them. But yes, I do love this. I think I will make some more of these because they're just so easy and so just nice to wear. They go with everything. It's such a simple pattern. It's just a simple raglan pattern, and I love a raglan because they're so easy and simple, and I don't have to worry about seaming anything or picking up stitches other than a few underarm stitches. It's just, they're a breeze, and just cast on and away you go. What's not to love? But yes, I think the only thing I would change about the next one I do is I will go up a size if I wanted a looser fit, and then I would make it full length sleeves and longer in the body. But this is great with skirts, dresses, high-waisted pants. Go on to this one. Okay, so this one is a pattern that when I first saw it being teased on Instagram, I knew I absolutely wanted to knit it. And it is the Louder Vest by Rebecca Clow. Sorry, Rebecca Clow, the Crab. Yeah, I saw the pattern being teased on Instagram and in her stories, and I just thought, yes, absolutely, I would definitely be making that. So I knitted mine up in Rowan Felted Tweed in the colour Clay. Do not recommend using that yarn for this pattern. I don't like the feel of it. I don't know. There's something about it I just don't like. It is not the pattern. The pattern is great. I totally am going to make another one. But the yarn itself is just a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. I was not a fan. But white shirt, this on a pair of pants, and I'm good to go. So I love this. I did have to do some fairly heavy blocking. I will say the Rowan Felted Tweed it's advertised as a 8-ply, but kind of behaves more like a sport or fingering weight yarn. So it can be I found it a little tricky in terms of hitting gauge. So I had to block this fairly heavily at the end of it, which is fine because cables block really nicely anyway. But yes, highly recommend. The pattern itself, so there's the vest, there's a round neck vest, there's a cardigan in a V-neck and a round neck, and then there's a sweater in a V-neck and a round neck. And then people have been converting the vest into a button vest as well, using the cardigan pattern. And yeah, so very generous of Rebecca to provide that many options for one pattern. So if you are looking for a cable sweater, vest, or jumper, absolutely recommend the Louder pattern by Rebecca Clow, because you get all of them in one and you get different neck options. So round neck and V-neck. I mean, you can't go wrong. Okay, let's see. What else have I got here? What have I forgotten? That's that. Completed test knits. So these are my finished objects. They were test knits, but they have finished now. First one I'll share is the Canberra sock by Kath Martin, who is the Mindful Melbourne maker. So this is a DK sock, DK weight sock. And this one I knitted in Nundle Wool Mills again, in my own dye. I like to experiment with dyes. So this is one of my colours. It's like a nice rosy pink colour. And then I've held it I've held it single with a strand of Rowan Kid Silk Haze in the colour Plum, I think. Yeah, in the colour Plum. And I think they just look so lovely together. So it's this nice fuzzy warm sock in an 8-ply gauge. And can't go wrong. It's winter. I want warm socks, and fuzzy socks are fantastic. So technically, I haven't actually finished the other sock, but I've put it in my finished objects because I only had to do one sock to finish the tests. It's a bit cheeky, but I'll get around to it there really quick. So 8-ply socks, 8 DK weight socks are just the fastest thing to knit up ever, because and you're done. I reckon you can get one. I mean, I got mine done within a couple of days. I just got busy and didn't get around to the second one. I have many socks, but fuzzy pink ones are just so nice and warm. The other test knit, which yes I completed, but I still have to weave the ends in, but it can wait. Is what's it called? The Albina by Caitlin Hunter. So this was just released, I think, a week or two ago. So it's a plant fibre based knit. So I've knitted mine in cotton, 100% cotton. However, a lot of test knitters were knitting with like linen cotton blends, or silk and linen, silk and cotton. Combinations of plant based with something else. So it is an oversized, kind of lightweight, like transitional season sweater. The sleeves are 3/4 length from memory. Oh no, mine are full length. Okay, take it back. Full length sleeves. You can do it striped, you can do it without stripes. What I like about the hem, and so I can bring this up and show you, is it's ribbed, but the very end of it is just stockinette, so it comes up just a tiny little bit, and it just creates the most interesting. It's like this really interesting little detail at the bottom, and it's so simple. It really was. It's knit bottom up in the round, and then you split when you get to the armholes, and then pick up stitches and knit the arms. The only thing I would say, and maybe this is probably a me thing rather than a pattern, is I found the arms a bit tight. So I'm tossing up over whether to redo the arms or just hope they stretch out a bit. I mean, they're not unwearable, they're just a bit tighter than I would like. I do have sizable arms. But it is cotton, so it's probably going to stretch anyway. And I could block it out a bit wider as it is, but we'll see. Yeah, I need to weave in the ends. That's the only thing left on this. I actually have a feeling there's a hole in one of the arms. I remember trying it on and noticing a hole, and I couldn't work out where it is because it doesn't show up when it's just sitting. But then there it is. Yeah, I've got this weird hole right here. I don't know why. I can't see if I've missed a stitch or anything. It's the oddest thing. But that's fine. I mean, I'll just weave that in. But yes, if you would like a pattern that is something you can wear when it's not really cold, but you want a bit of coverage, maybe cool evenings, spring, autumn, this one absolutely. There's some really beautiful neutrals that are like a really muted stripe, which are gorgeous. Some of the testers did solid ones. Navy and blue would be fantastic in this as well. Yeah, it's got just the slightest little bit of shaping across the back as well. I should show you that. So on the back, you can see there's just that little bit of shaping along the back neck, just to give you that lift, but not so much that you've got a big crescent in the neck, in the back. So love this one. Okay, that's it for the finished objects. Let's move on to works in progress. And I can't remember if I talked about this last time or not, but I have been slowly chipping away at the Novice Cardigan by Petite Knits. I saw someone wearing one, and I just love the kind of the easy, casual but kind of classy look it had to it. I don't normally go for a round neck cardigan, but I saw someone wearing one and it just sat really nicely. So I finally started one. Now this is knit in Rowan Kid Silk Haze in the colour Soil, which is this colour here, and the light, the sun's gone and it's gone dark again. So it's this kind of chestnutty brown colour, and then held with this colour here, which is, no surprise, an under woolen mill sock in, I think this is the colour Burnt Umber. It was a bit of an experimental colour from my part. I knew I wanted this kind of reddy brown. It's kind of an Irish red setter colour. But when I first did the colour, it was a bit, yeah, it was a bit like poo brown. It wasn't really nice. So I then overdyed it again with the Burnt Umber. And so it's got this really nice kind of deep colour, but it's slightly mottled still, but not so much that it looks like it doesn't look like I've missed anything. It's just more, the richness is kind of marbled through it. I knitted 4 skeins of it in one go. I don't think I'm going to be able to ever match this exactly because I didn't write anything down, but it's a perfect amount for knitting up a cardigan and then possibly either some socks or a hat to go with it. So I am a sleeve and a half away from finishing. Dare I say it, I might have to make the body longer. I don't know. I feel like it's going to stretch out quite a bit, but the body's not super long. Like I haven't done it. I think from neck to back, the length is okay, but from the underarm, the underarm itself sits where it's meant to. I don't know. I know the front hangs longer than the back, so I think I'll finish the sleeve, try it on, and then decide from there whether to change the length. Because I don't want to unpick this. We'll see. I'm really impatient when it comes to body length on my knits, so I tend to make things a little bit shorter than they should. I will learn to be patient one day, but that's not today. So yeah, Novice Cardigan by Petite Knits. It is just a round yoke. You just knit for a certain length until you reach a certain length, do some increases, keep knitting until you reach the next length, do some increases and repeat that process for a while, and then split for the arms, and then you just straight body from then on. It's so easy. It's just like a foolproof cardigan. Recommend that if you are looking for a cardigan to knit. I did that one to just practice purling, because I tend to avoid purling if I can. Not that I'm bad at it, I just avoid it because I prefer, like, knitting. The knit stitch is just so much easier. So this was just to sort of get me out of that habit of avoiding anything where I had to like knit across and then purl across. And yeah, purling now is just second nature. I know it's weird. It sounds weird, but I just had this avoidance of like straight purl stitches if I could help it, because I'm lazy, like I said. What else am I working on? That one I've talked about. Oh, yeah. Okay. You finished. You've got to put me there. Daft Days. I started a Daft Days cardigan, It's another Rebecca Clow pattern. I started one, got to probably just before splitting for sleeves, then decided I did not like the colours. So I ripped it all out back to this first colour here. So I ripped this much out, back to this, and I've started again with a different set of colours. And I have to say I am much happier with these ones. It is a striped cardigan. It knits, pearls and slip stitches, so it's a lot of fun. And I mean, it's designed to use up like bits of skeins, and like it was originally an advent calendar knit. So I've just been using like little 10-20 gram skeins of yarn, and anything I've got left over, and any of my hand dyed yarn that I've got, where I've just got single skeins, because I've got so much sock weight yarn. It's not funny, and I'm never going to knit enough socks to be able to use it all. But other things have taken priority, so this has just been sitting in my to-do list for a while. Every once in a while I pick it up and do a couple of rows, but we will get there. It is like really squishy and just such a lovely texture. The base is Malabrija Rios in, not wheat, something like wheat, or I can't remember the colour. Oh my god. I think it's something wheat. Anyway, but I will get round to it at some point of finishing this off. Next one is another Tulsa, another Rebecca Clow Tulsa, up to my fourth one. This one I am knitting in Drops Belle, which is a cotton linen viscose blend. And I've just decided to make it look like an ice cream. So the next colour is going to be brown. I bought some Drops Belle. I thought, hey, what happens if I use every single colour I have in one t-shirt? So that's what I'm doing. And hopefully I will finish this before summer, because it is now winter and I have no need for this. So this one sits by my bed for when I'm winding down for the evening, and I'll knit a couple of rows. And I love it because I don't have any pressure to finish this at any time. I just knit when I feel like it in the evening. But if you haven't checked out the Tulsa Tee, do that. Rebecca's just released the Tulsa Tank, which I'll be knitting later this year. And I believe there is a long sleeve version coming out soon with bust shaping. So if you are someone who needs adjustments to fit your chest measurements, that's coming, which is really exciting. I think it's just great that she's enhancing her existing patterns, but the Tulsa itself is really, really straightforward. It is customizable. It's like the ultimate pattern. The fact that I've knitted on to my fourth is amazing, because I don't think I've ever repeated the same pattern more than once or twice. Next is a test knit that I am doing. This is one that I can share because the others I can't. So this is the Alma Cardigan by Sana & Co. And it is a beautiful, well, it's the start of a cardigan. I'm finished the body. I'm working on the sleeves. The sleeves will then be attached. I'll finish the rest of it, and then I get to cut up the middle here and pick up stitches for the button band. I've never sticked before. This is so exciting to be able to do this. I'm so excited to be able to wear this. The yarn itself is the most delicious yarn I think I've ever felt in my life. It is not that. It is the Great Ocean Road Woolen Mills La Bella in 8-ply. This is the colour cream. So this is one of their undyed yarns. So it's a mixture of alpaca and merino, and when you block it, so you knit it up and it just feels like just a really nice yarn, but the magic happens when you block this, because it puffs up into the most cloud-like, puffy, squishy non-itchy yarn. And it's just, I'll show you. So I've blocked this part of it, but this top itch here is where I've added afterwards. And I don't know if you can see the difference in the yarn. So down the bottom here, it's just this beautiful big fluffy cloud. And then you can see the difference here where it hasn't been blocked. And it just, it's gorgeous. And then the contrast color here is Cascade 220. Because it is a heavier weight yarn, I knew it would work with the labella because the labella does puff up, and my swatches came out absolutely perfect. So I was super happy with that. I love this pattern, and I love the way Susanna has designed these. She is a genius when it comes to knitting patterns. So check her out if you haven't already. She's got some amazing new stuff coming soon. It's been a busy year for her, so I will show you this again. Hopefully in the next video it'll be finished. If not, I'll be done by July, because that's when the deadline is. And hopefully I will be wearing this to Bendigo for the wool show. So this is the test knit I can share. Unfortunately, I've got 2 other test knits that I cannot share. One is a secret test knit, so I can't release any details about that. The other one, it's not a secret, but we've been asked to not share any images or any details online about it yet. So it kind of makes it a test knit. A secret test knit. But that's coming soon. It's another cardigan by another big designer. So hopefully I can talk about that in maybe the next or the video after, because that's very exciting and yeah, it should be fun. I'm going to move on to my design that I'm working on, and then I'll share acquisitions. So this came about because I thought, hey, I wonder if I can come up with my own sweater design. And I just thought I would test myself, because why not? Why not stretch yourself and see if you can do something creative and fun? So I have been working on a design for a raglan sweater. And I know I am obsessed with raglans purely because I have bigger shoulders and bigger arms, and I can give myself more room with a raglan than I can with a set-in sleeve or a drop shoulder, because I tend to have to make them extra big to fit the shoulders, and then they're too big in the body. So I decided to start work on a raglan. Now, I cast on and just sort of went, let's see where this ends up. The yarn I've used, before I share this, I've used Rowan Felted Tweed because I had plenty of this lying around in the colour Lotus or Lotus Leaf. Held double with Fibre Spates Cumulus. So this is a pack of fluff in moss, and then a strand of Kremke Stellaris, which is this lovely glitter. So the 3 of these together have resulted in this puffy, squishy, fluffy, slightly sparkly knit. I don't know if the sparkles are showing. And they're not going to show, are they? Oh, they're kind of showing. I find the felted tweed to be a little bit itchy, and I have been assured that it does soften up over time, but with the alpaca, it's beautiful. So the sweater I'm working on and designing is this one. It doesn't have a name just yet. It's a raglan. We've got cables down the raglan increase area, the seams. These cables continue down the side, and then in the bottom section there's going to be more cabling as well as some purling in there, because hey, now I love pearls. I am hoping to get the pattern off to my tech editor hopefully this week. However, I am having some issues with the charts for the different sizes. I recently sat down to do the grading on this. which was a bit of an effort, but now that I figured it out, I'm pretty confident I can grade now. She says while not testing anything. No, I sat down, did the grading calculations, the measurements, check gauge, did all that. The problem I'm having is the cable design I got in my mind won't work for every single size without some adjustments. So I'm just working out how to chart that and write that up so I can get that off to the tech editor, and then I'll be able to release for testing, fingers crossed. I am planning to do another one of these in Cascade 220 because the gauge on this is quite firm. Okay. Because of the alpaca with the felted tweed, it is very puffy. It's not heavy, it's just a puffy feel to it, which is fantastic, but not everyone wants to do puffy alpaca and merino, and felted tweed is quite expensive here in Australia. So I've just swatched with Cascade 220. It is a lot breezier, so the gauge is a lot looser, so there is freedom there to mix and match yarns if you wanted to add a mohair strand or you wanted to hold fingering double. As long as you hit gauge, the gauge is quite loose. I didn't want anything too heavy because I don't think it is that cold. Well, it's cold. I don't think we need, I don't, start this again. I didn't want to do anything that was going to be too rigid. I wanted something that's going to have a bit of movement, a bit of air, not too tight. So the gauge is a bit loose. But it does mean that if you wanted to add extra strands or mix and match yarns, that is an option for you with this knit. It's kind of very similar gauge to the Lento in that it can be light and airy if you wanted it to, or you can like hold several strands of yarn together and really like packet it and make it a thick sweater. So stay tuned. I'm pretty excited about this. I love this colour. It's like an army green almost, but it's not quite. It's a little bit brighter in real life. The camera's sort of muting it. I think my jumper is sucking the life out of all the colour around here. But yeah. Looking forward to wearing this one soon. Okay, speaking of designs, I have been swatching some other things. So I've got the raglan designing. I have something else in mind using B stitch, which is this stitch here. I'm going to be swatching again because I think this is just a fraction too loose for what I want to work with. This is the Great Ocean Road Woolen Mill alpaca, so our labella. And I think I just want to tighten it up a little bit gauge wise. But this is going to be super exciting if I can figure out the pattern. I know what I want to do and I know what I want to do it with. It's just getting them together. The other one is a cable because who doesn't love cables? So I've done 2 swatches in one here. So this is on Malabrigo Rios in, I think this is the colour Sunset. You'd think I'd write that down on here. So it's the same design on the cables, but one is 1 pearl stitch between, and this is 2 pearl stitches. So it just gives you, it's a slightly different, you can just see the way it sort of has a bit more movement and shape between the 2 styles. So we'll see. I haven't decided which one I'll go with yet. But I do like the way this is swatched up, and I love the drape of Rios. What I don't love about this is the fact that the colour is not colour fast. I'll talk about that in a minute. So that's my swatches. So let's talk about the epic fail that I had. I was working on the Leaf cardigan, which is a Rebecca Cloud design. It's a striped cardigan with intarsia up the back, so you stagger the stripes. And there's multiple options for it. I did mine in Malabrigo Rios in the colour Natural, and then had 4 accent colours. So I had a dark green, a pink, a dark blue. I can't remember the other colour. A green? Did I say green? Yeah. Purple. I had a purple, that's right. Anyway, finished it off. Loved it. Loved the fit. Noticed when I was first blocking it that there was a little bit of colour run. And especially around the purple and the green, I think. So the natural colour around that had changed to like a very pale green and pink and purple. Not noticeable enough if I wasn't pointing it out to you, but then when I pointed it out to you, you could really see. Anyway, I thought, oh, okay. I blocked it again because I'd worn it and needed to reshape it. And it came out looking like a tie-dyed mess. That's the only way it looks. Like, it was ruined. It was awful. So yeah, I was like, well, what happens now? I could try and over dye it because the colour was not going to lift. The colour would not lift. So I tried to over dye it and that just still didn't lift. So now I've got this brown mess. So I don't know what to do with this. I think it's just going to become a cat bed. Like, you could even see the over dyeing did not save it. It is like, it's a mess. I had to cut the buttons off. I mean, it's all blotchy. Yeah, like dark patches and light patches. And it's just, yeah. So that's that one. So that's what I was mentioning before about the Rios. It does, I've noticed it has a tendency for the colour to run, which is fine if you're just using one colour because it'll just run and it's fine. But if you are mixing and matching colours, be warned. Even this little swatch, when I soaked that, I even, like, after 2 minutes, like, the water was yellow. And I love this yarn. Like, it feels so nice and soft. And it's just really disappointing that I can't trust that the colour's not going to go everywhere else. So, yeah. Okay. Acquisitions. Let's talk acquisitions. So, I mentioned Great Ocean Road, Woollen Mills, La Bella, and I have a few colours of that. So, the cream I am using for the Alma cardigan test. I am doing another knit in the rose grey, and it's like a very light, it's grey, but it's got like a bit of brown in it, so it's not so washed out on me. And then, oh yeah, this swatch is the La Bella with this navy colour, which is gorgeous. It's really dark navy. I love dark navies. So they're just beautiful together. But then I also picked up a yellow. And this is, it's a mustard. Yeah, it's mustard. And apparently, according to the owners, it is quite literally a mix of English mustard and Dijon on a napkin that they took to the dye house and said, this is the colour mustard we want. And I think that is fantastic. So had to get this colour. I'm probably going to go back and get more colours because I can see a colourwork jumper sweater in my future using some of these. I've also bought a stash of Cascade 220. So, oh shit. Natural and navy for a striped jumper. No, striped cardigan, I think. Maybe. Can't go wrong. Pumpkin spice, which I will do the second sample of my green cardigan in. And then, where is it? Bright red, because, well, I want something that's going to clash with my hair. No, I really want to do a cable cardigan in red. So that's what this is going to end up being. Now, 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago, I went to a yarn festival and picked up some yarn from Tandy. So Tandy Court, which is out near Colac. They are a family-owned business. So they raise and process all the wool themselves, I think. Yeah. So it's Polworth wool. Why was that so hard to say? Polworth wool. It is really soft. And apparently it is amazing once it's blocked as well. It feels amazing now. So I picked up this colour lilac, which is like this dusky lilac. I haven't decided what I'm doing with this yet. Probably just a Blento? I don't know. But I can't wait to use it. It just feels so nice. And I did have one other thing to share. Where is it? There we go. 3 trees. So 3 trees fibre crafts. Okay. My memory card just notified me that it was full, so I had to delete some stuff. So 3 trees fibre crafts. They have a monthly yarn subscription. This year's theme is Australian bees. Last year was moths. This year is bees. So this is the May bee. I hope it's the May bee. Gold tipped leaf cutter bee. And I just love this. So it's beautiful. It's like gold and then it's got pink in there and a tint of brown and then, oh, I can't wait to use these. All the colours are kind of, they all complement each other really nicely, but they're different enough that you don't feel like you're getting the same thing every month. And you can choose when you order, like you do your order every quarter, and you can choose what yarn you want. So I always pick the 4-ply sock yarn because it's really soft and you can do so much with it. But they have 8 plies and yeah, there's various options for you. But yeah, it's just nice to, I think it's really well planned out this year. It's so well done. Like the colours, just you line the colours up and they just sort of tell a story, but they complement, but they're not the same thing. But they're not so different that you can't use them together. So I've seen a few examples on Instagram of where people have made something with like 3 colours and they just beautifully blend together and they're just gorgeous. So just wanted to share that one with you because I love these so much. This is one of my favourite dyes. If not, no, this is my favourite dye, my favourite indie dye. Great Ocean Road for my favourite fibre content. And then I'm going to say Cascade for like just affordability because these are really, like, they're kind of that space in between the cheap wools that are scratchy and itchy and then the really expensive ones that you don't want to spend a fortune on if you don't know what you're doing with them. This is like the one that fits in between that and kind of works for like just about every project because the yarn itself just, I don't know, it's sort of, it's heavier than DK, like it's worsted weight, but you can still use it for DK projects. But it's puffy enough that you can use it for worsted weight projects, yeah, and the colours are amazing too. Okay, I'm going to stop talking. My camera's having a hissy fit again. Thanks for sticking with me. Hopefully it won't be so much of a break between now and the next one. Hopefully I can share some of those secret test knits with you. And if not, hopefully I will see you all at Bendigo, which is not that far away. The Bendigo Wool and Sheep Show. Looking forward to seeing all the vendors there and hopefully saying hello to a few faces. So thanks for hanging around and we'll see you next time. Bye.